All right, let's do it. Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. Welcome back to Shooting It Straight with your old friend Rudy. I gotta tell you, when I put together this interview series right here, there was a few people that I had in mind that I wanted to sit down with, even though I know his story, because I'm a part of his story, and we're a part of each other's history. Of course, I'm talking about my dear friend, A.T. Huck. Of course, the man has been around the world. He's refereed and booked matches like you wouldn't believe for guys like AJ Styles, for guys like Rhino Richards, for guys like Christian and Edge, and so many others. And of course, he was the guy in ECW, the referee that everyone didn't want to be in the ring with because he called it down the middle. It didn't matter if you were George Bush or Saddam Hussein.
That's
my
true.
good friend A.T. Huck.
How you doing,
man.
Rude Boy? Good to be here, man.
Good, man. How you doing these days?
I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling good. You know, I'm enjoying international big-time wrestling. You know, doing the commentating here and calling the matches with Terry Sullivan. You know,
How does that feel?
It's an honor to sit next to Terry Sullivan. I grew up watching him in Detroit big-time wrestling, and I mean, he announced some of the greatest wrestlers in history.
Yes.
So I'm just taking it all in.
Well, you know what we're doing with International Big Time Wrestling. Of course you do, because you're a part of the team, but it wasn't easy to get you on the team because you've distanced yourself a little bit from wrestling with the new modern wrestling, if you will.
Yeah, just a little bit. You know, I still do quite a bit. I don't referee as much as I used to, you know, getting a little older. You know, I still will referee on occasion if it's needed. But I prefer doing commentating, and I've been doing a little managing, you know, as of late too.
Yeah. So tell me, I was there the day you started.
Yeah.
Let's go back in time. Let's talk about that great day at Azteca Hall in Southwest Detroit on West Verner and Central.
That's right. Almost 30 years. It'll be 30 years in January since I had my first night as a referee. I refereed the main event that night, as you well know, and it was an honor to referee that main event. It was actually Bobo Brazil and the Sheik.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, just flabbergasted that I was in the ring with Bobo Brazil and the Sheik. You know, growing up in Detroit, they were the icons in the city of Detroit when it comes to professional wrestling. Headlined Cobo Arena countless times. Their feud is legendary.
Yes.
And for me to be in the match, even though they were at an advanced age at that time, it was still Bobo Brazil and the Sheik.
No doubt.
And as you know, I left that match with the Sheik's signature on my forehead.
The Sheik gave you a lifelong signature.
Exactly, but you know, hey, it's a badge of honor.
It really is,
and
and let me tell you something. That night changed all of our lives.
It did.
And it was because of a great man, Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe.
Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe.
How did you meet him, man?
I actually met Malcolm at a Perry drugstore. You know, he had taken some time off of professional wrestling and was doing
It was
some security work.
right? Okay.
You know, and I noticed him. I said, oh, I recognize him from, you know, TV, you know, wrestling. And my wife was like, you should go say something to him. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. You know, I don't ask for autographs and that type of thing.
Right.
But she convinced me to go up to speak to him, and of course he, you know, was like, no, it's not him.
Right.
Then I was adamant. I was like, yeah, I know who you are. And he was like, yeah. And so we talked a little bit. He gave me an ink pen. And then I ran into him again maybe 5-6 months later at another drugstore. He was doing security there. And we really struck up a long conversation. And at that time, man, a buddy of mine, you know, Frank
Young, yeah.
we had contemplated having our own wrestling show before I even got into the business. And we just wanted to show wrestling from all over the world because we had seen tapes from Japan and Puerto Rico and, wow, this is what we like. This is what we remembered from Kobo.
Right.
And I'm not going to pull any punches. Wrestling here in Detroit, to me at that time, was kind of weak.
It was lame.
It was weak. You know, nobody was really doing anything exciting and just kind of going through the motions. So we wanted to turn it up, me and Frank. We wanted hardcore wrestling that we saw.
Yeah.
So my first show in, we put together a program. You did the programs for the show. Didn't ask us. We just did it. We wrote the articles, you know, we put it together, and we called ourselves Hardcore Wrestling Presents Midwest Championship Wrestling. And we just wanted that excitement. We wanted the craziness.
Yeah.
And this was before ECW.
Sure, yeah. Many moons before. And on that very same show, a young Sabu was there.
Sabu was there.
Rob Van Dam,
Al
Al Snow, Mickey Doyle.
Rude Boy, Violent J.
I mean,
a lot of local guys. Scott the Rock Stevens.
Oh my goodness,
You know, Judge Dredd under a different name. He was Dr. Payne.
The Samson
was there.
The Bug.
Dango.
The Dango, rest in peace.
You know, a lot of different guys were on that show.
So,
those 3 shows, Irish Mickey Doyle.
Mickey Doyle, yes. So fast forwarding, how did you get contacted by Paul Heyman?
Well, it was kind of a rift that came about between me and Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe, really, and the Monroe family.
Yeah.
You know, DBA had started working at that time, and up until that time, I was booking most of the shows for Malcolm. Along with him, I was contacting the talent. Like you said, I brought in Edge and Christian and Joey Legend and all those guys to Detroit for the first time. And DBA came in, so Malcolm was kind of shifting things over to him a little bit. But long story short, we had a little falling out at a show where some violence erupted. And there was this big brawl, and I kind of got blamed for it a little bit, you know. So I went home that night. I think it was the same night, and I called up Sabu because I was done. I was like, I need to get out of here.
Right.
And he said, yeah, Huck, give me a call around Christmas time. The next day he said, hey, we're going to Philly this weekend. You know, can you go? You know, just like that.
Wow.
So I had a van at the time, so you know, I went and I met Sabu and Pee Wee, and I think we picked up Rob Van Dam on the way. And we headed to Philly. And my first actual match for ECW was in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Okay.
Then the next
day. Do you
day,
remember the match?
Unfortunately, I don't remember the match. I don't remember my first ECW match. I want to think it may have been Spike Dudley and Big Sal.
Okay,
I think it might be that. But the next night in Philadelphia is really memorable to me.
Yeah.
I refereed Jerry Lynn and Mikey Whipwreck.
Wow.
You know, the first
And
match,
you know they tore it down.
They tore it down. So I went to the ring, and New Jack
said... This was at the ECW
arena in Philly. And New Jack said that the fans weren't going to like me. They were going to boo me. You know, they don't take to new people that well. But there were some Michigan fans in the audience, fortunately for me. So I went out, and they started chanting my name. Huck, they were surprised that I was there. And the other people in the arena just caught on and started doing it too before I was ever even announced. So that was great. And when I went back, the look on New Jack's face was like, hating a little bit. But we're cool though, me and New Jack.
New Jack's he's an interesting guy.
But later on that night, Paul put me in the main event My first night in ECW
And
arena.
what was that main event?
That was Sandman and Just Incredible.
Nice.
Kendo stick
Nice.
match.
Oh, man.
So I went right in and they put me right in the top matches right off the bat.
So Huck, you know, we could talk for days and days and days.
Yeah.
Actually, this is part one of AT Huck and Rude Boy shooting it straight. We do a segment here where it's a name association.
Okay.
The first word that comes to your name, to your brain when I say these names, I want you to say.
Okay, I
All
can
right.
do that. Let's see.
Can we do that?
Give it to me. Come on.
All right. Captain Ed George.
Ooh. Wow, that's a tough one. A tough one. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Sabu.
Generous.
Joyce Farhad.
Ooh, boy. Iconic.
Tony Smalls.
Ambitious.
Rudy Hill.
Love.
It's what we do here. It is, I was gonna say Cruising the Barrio, which you are a part of.
But the
by
first
way.
thing that comes to my mind is love because I love you, brother.
I love you too. I really do. Once again, fans, thank you for stopping by, shooting it straight with Rudy. We've got so much more coming up. Don't you dare go away.
If you've enjoyed this video from RoX-TV.com, make sure you follow RoX-TV on Facebook and YouTube. If it's underground, we're there.